right, welcome into episode 1 of the Cashflow Corner.
Yeah, thanks for all the listeners tuning in here for the debut, the first episode of Cashflow Corner. Couldn't be more excited to get this show on the road here.
Yeah, it's going to be an exciting process. And really, for today and the future of this podcast, we're going to be diving into the world of commercial real estate investing and the different avenues of real estate and go over what our role is and how we can just help educate others and really get others involved into the world of real estate investing.
Yeah, no, I couldn't be more excited. Got kind of this mixed bag of emotions going on right now. Little nervous, little excited, a little uncomfortable, but really, I think that's just part of the process of continuing to grow. And yeah, couldn't be more excited to get this thing going here. But yeah, my name is Jacob Thomas. I am partner of Twin Lux Capital here, and I have my twin brother Aaron Thomas on, the other partner of Twin Lux Capital.
Great. Yeah, I would say just as a little pretext, we both are currently involved in the world of real estate investing right now. We do have our own company, Twin Lux Capital, which is focused around creating funds of pooling capital together and then deploying that capital into real estate syndication projects, primarily focused around multifamily. And then we also have a short-term rental business as well that we operate some Airbnb and VRBOs as well. That's mainly just kind of our side passive cash flow project, but ultimately focused on real estate syndication and becoming a lead and sponsor in the future.
Yeah, and before we kind of get kicked off of kind of getting into the nuts and bolts of the content that we want to get across to the listeners here, Aaron, let's kind of take a step back here, for those people that whether you know us or maybe this is your first time tuning in, and you're unaware of who we are, or maybe even if you do know us and you're just not sure what what we've been up to for the past couple of years. Let's just kind of start off with some background of how we got to where we are today. Just kind of tell your story of how you got here, Aaron.
Yeah, so my real estate journey really didn't start until after college. I was living in Chicago pursuing my medical degree, and then COVID kind of hit, and as you know, everything kind of stopped. So ended up using that time to my advantage. Worked on a lot of self-development, reading, researching, and I felt like even if I were to pursue my medical degree, I always knew that I was going to end up investing in rental portfolios, rental properties, commercial real estate. So ended up talking to a lot of family and friends in the commercial real estate industry and a lot of real estate professionals and really took a deep dive and just thought, you know what, I'm just going to try to pick as many brains as I could and gain as much knowledge as I can. So ended up asking a lot of them, hey, if you were in my spot right now, my age, what would you do? What would you do differently? How would you end up working to achieve the goals that I was aspiring to achieve? And took all that information in and then decided I was going to defer from medical school for a year and then took that year to really dive into the commercial real estate world and try to learn as much as I could and see if it was something for me. And then I ended up working as a commercial real estate broker in Chicago. And then from there, I always knew that, like my mentor, I wanted to kind of go off on my own and create my own business. So from there, I was just took a full leap of faith and ended up moving out here to Scottsdale, Arizona, and creating our company. And then from there, it's probably been one of the best decisions I've ever made and wouldn't have changed anything. Now we're trying to aspire to do bigger and better things. And yeah, so that's really where my commercial real estate journey started. I guess I'll throw it back to you and hear your story.
Yeah, no, before I kind of let the people know about my story, I think What's really cool and neat about your story, and what I think a lot of people can kind of relate to, is, like you said, you were what, 4 or 5 years into the medical field. For a lot of people, that's, you're stuck in this position. Do I keep moving forward? Is there something else I can do? A lot of people just, they kind of find themselves, stuck in that situation where, for you, it takes a lot of courage to say, hey, I'm going to put this on the back burner for a little bit, and I'm going to go try out this new idea of what I've been, putting a lot of effort, like you said, research into. So for me, I definitely related to that. My story is a little different than Aaron's. I went to the University of Michigan. I was in the sports management field. Aaron and I, we grew up in a huge sports family. For us, it was, we played hockey year round. We were playing football, basketball, you name it. We were just a big sports family, constantly on the move. And for me, obviously I knew my dreams and aspirations of playing professional sports. Probably, and Aaron can probably attest to this as well, we probably knew those dreams weren't going to come true. But yeah, kind of having that sports background, I always knew I wanted to do something within sports. I didn't necessarily know, what that was going to look like going throughout college. Was taking a lot of good courses, met a lot of great people. At my time at the University of Michigan, did some really cool internships with the PGA. Those were some awesome times that I, kind of had within the sports industry. And then, similar to Aaron, obviously the COVID pandemic kind of threw a wrench into a lot of people's, agendas, careers, and, outlook on really just on life, and what that was looking like moving forward. For me, I graduated 2021 in the midst of COVID. For an undergrad coming out looking for a job, that could have looked a little scary. People weren't sure of, hey, am I going to get a job? What am I going to do? Those thoughts were starting to run through everyone's head, as well as mine. But thankfully, I was blessed enough to accept a job with the Detroit Tigers and the Detroit Red Wings, where I was with the inside sales team there, working with both teams, which was, I learned a lot throughout my time there. Eventually was solely working for the Tigers there, doing new business, reaching out to, business executives in the Detroit metro area, was going on client meetings with, different companies within the city. Like I said, I learned a lot, made a lot of good relationships, and I'm just really thankful for my time there, with the Tigers and everything that I learned. But while I was there, kind of in the back of my head, this is where Aaron was in Chicago working commercial real estate. I was constantly, what did I call you? Probably every day after you got off work, I'm like, what are you learning? Like, what are you seeing? And that's where I started to get my spark, and where I started to get my excitement for the world of real estate. For a lot of people, as we'll kind of talk about, that people just don't know about the different opportunities and the different avenues that real estate can, provide to you. So I was kind of chasing that, that financial freedom that everyone's kind of looking for. And I knew, working with the Tigers, a traditional 9 to 5, and I say a traditional 9 to 5, but working in sports, if you're familiar with anything of working in sports, it's grueling. You're working events, you're working the game days. It's a lot of hours. So my mindset, as I kind of kept working, I always found myself, on my computer at work, looking at deals, looking at short-term rental deals out here in Scottsdale. And for me, I had to make a decision. I was on that fine line of, do I kind of half put my foot into real estate, or do I just rip the Band-Aid off and go all in, like Aaron said? So for me, worked there for a year and a half, and I finally said, hey, let's do this thing. Aaron and I, let's move out to Scottsdale. Let's go head first into this thing. And really, ever since, I've learned a lot. We've been doing a lot of different, networking conferences, learning seminars, just trying to get out to, a lot of people in the industry. So for me, I couldn't be more excited to, get this start and really pursue our bigger dreams and aspirations. Yeah. So Aaron, let's just kind of start in a real basic spot here for our first time listeners. A lot of people tuning in may not know exactly what multifamily syndication means or what it looks like from, I guess, your lens or your perspective. If you could kind of give a brief description of, what multifamily syndication looks like in your eyes. Yeah, I feel like that'd be a good place to start.
Yeah, I would definitely say really what real estate syndication is let's say you're downtown in a nice neighborhood, just in a nice area, and you see a 100-unit multifamily apartment complex. Most people, I mean, don't really think about, okay, like, how did this get built, or how is this here? Is there one specific person that owns this? I feel like a lot of people don't even think about that stuff. And now driving around, like, that stuff gets me excited thinking about, like, who purchases, like how much do they pay, like what are they paying per door, stuff like that. Like that stuff gets me excited. And really most people would just think, oh, some really wealthy guy just, or some business that's leasing it out, is just accumulating this property. But really what it is most properties, it's not one single person buying it. It's investors that are pooling their money together into a fund, which are then, let's say, it's almost like you're buying a share of that property as like a share in a stock. So you then own a piece of that property and then can accumulate returns based on how that property performs, which really is kind of how it leads into the private equity world of almost looking at these properties as businesses. And you see, like, okay, like how much income is it generating? What are expenses? How could you increase revenue, decrease expenses, and ultimately increase the value to increase your return? So I would say that's really kind of just like the fundamentals of real estate syndication, of being able to really pool capital together to then as a cohesive group return greater returns together, other than just doing something on your own, like owning a residential single family home just like as a rental property or something like that. Because really the benefits of real estate syndication are just astronomical, of how many things you can do with it, the benefits, even compared to other asset classes or stocks, bonds, index funds, anything like that. It just completely outweighs those other investment vehicles.
Yeah, no, you're spot on, Aaron. There, and I, love the example and the general overview of exactly how multifamily syndication plays out. But for me, if I had to kind of boil it down to one aha or one aha moment or one main takeaway for the first time listeners, is really that a lot of people come in and, if you're learning something new, you're learning about new investments, people tend to, and I guess this is more of like a human bias, they kind of shut down. If it's something new, they block it away. They try to reject, the claims or whatever that may be. And for me, what I've seen firsthand is people, they don't think it's achievable. They don't think it's attainable. You see these, these big 100, 200 plus units. You look at it and you immediately kind of shut down to the fact that that is an option that you can get into. You can invest in that. So really for me, I think that's kind of my main takeaway of what I would want to get across to people is that, you know, put your blinders down, open your eyes to these new opportunities, and really just give yourself an opportunity to learn. And I feel like this is obviously a great spot for people to kind of begin their journey of learning.
Yeah, that's a great point, Jacob. And I agree that a lot of people just tend to stick with the norm of putting their money in a savings account, Roth, IRA, 401k, maybe an index fund, something like that, and really don't look at these other investment vehicles that have greater returns of yield. And that's really what sticks out to us, is trying to help educate those and get these listeners involved in real estate investing, because there is so many opportunities out there that just make more sense from an investing perspective, of being able to have higher returns in a more achievable, predictable manner. And let's just say for if you're putting your money in the stock market or an index fund or something like that, I think over the last 20 years you would be receiving 9-10% annualized, which is great. But after commissions and fees, it just dwindles down. Where then you're then looking at a commercial real estate syndication opportunity that's achieving 12, 15, even maybe even 20% return, and that's with fees, commission, and even taxes. Where stocks, I wasn't even including taxes as well, which taxes is one of the biggest benefits of investing in commercial real estate or in any real estate at all. And that's really why, I mean, we can go into a whole nother episode, honestly, on depreciation, which is the tax loophole for real estate and really what that can do for you. I just feel like there's so many advantages to the real estate investing, and there's so many opportunities out there that people just don't think that they can get into. And it is obtainable of achieving that passive cash flow to then start building that generational wealth that I know everybody is looking for.
Yeah, so no, Aaron, I think that's a really good place to start. I know we're barely even tipping our toes into the water of the content that we want to get out to the listeners. We're gonna touch on current events. We're gonna touch on different underwriting strategies, different partnership models, different benefits and risk with multifamily syndication. So we're gonna get to all that. But we really just wanted to take this time for the first episode, introduce ourselves, let you guys know a little more about what we're looking to do in the future. Um, but really, Aaron, I guess, kind of segueing into, future episodes, what's got you the most excited? What should people be looking forward to? Yeah, I guess kind of what gets you excited about the future going forward of this podcast?
Yeah, I would say the biggest thing is just being able to educate these listeners and just being able to have them explore different investing opportunities. And I think the biggest thing would be for them right now is just to read and research as much as possible. I think that's really the key of how we started. I know there's so many deals that are out there right now. Even if you were just to look up real estate syndication deals, there's always deals out there, and they'll be able to see like what's your IRR, what's the whole period, what are all their commissions, what's their perspective going to be. And I think that's a great place to start. And then I would also say we also have a handbook, ultimate handbook on our website. That's a great resource as well, just that lays down the full fundamentals of what real estate syndication investing is. And I think that would be just a great opportunity or a great source of information to really start from. And then, like you said, continue on with this podcast. We're going to have a lot of great content coming out, and just diving more into the world of commercial real estate investing, just to kind of break it down and help our listeners learn and educate them more.
Yeah, and then also at the same time too, I'm definitely looking forward to and excited about getting some different professionals on our podcast as well, picking their brains live for you guys to kind of see that unfold as well. So we're looking forward to getting some guests on here as well. But yeah, like Aaron said, I feel like if I was in your guys' shoes and I was looking for a good place to start, I would log on to our website. You can find that there. It's twinluxcapital.com. We'll also put that in the link in the description below as well for you guys to go ahead and have an easier way to access that. But along with that, we have social media pages, Instagram, things like that. So check us out there as well. But yeah, definitely looking forward to it. Like I said, first episode, a little nervous, a little excited, but man, can't wait to take a deeper dive and continue on this journey with you guys.
Yeah, it's been great. Thank you.